Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to LifeHouse. My name is Ryan. Great to see you guys here in the room. Great to have you online as well. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with us this weekend. Appreciate you guys making this part of your weekend. Hope you've had a great weekend. Friday, I had the chance to go spend the day in Dayton, and we went to the Wright-Patterson Air Force Museum. If you've never been there, it is awesome. It's huge. I feel like you could spend 3 full days there. All these hangars and planes, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. It's really cool. Well, there is an exhibit there right now where they brought in actual Air Force Ones from different presidents, like the actual Air Force One planes. So we got to go into Truman's Air Force One and Roosevelt's, and they keep them just like they were at the time, which is awesome. And then the biggest one there was JFK's Air Force One. And so you get to go up and in it. And we were so excited, we kind of sprinted up the stairs into Air Force One. And when we did, an older gentleman was, all of a sudden he started screaming, "Stop, you know, you can't go in those stairs," and was just going nuts. And apparently we were going in the wrong way, and he did not like that. And I said, "I'm sorry, sir, we didn't know that was, that we didn't know." And it was the end of the day. In his defense, he probably had a bad day and, was ready to get home and out of there. So we had to go in the front way, and it was really cool. But then contrast that with after that, we went to the Dayton Mall. Now, the Dayton Mall is not as exciting as the Air Force Museum, in my opinion. Others may disagree. But we went to the mall, and at the end of the mall is like the big department stores. So it'd be like Sears or Von Maur, or I don't know, at the ends. So an old Sears had gotten bought by a church, and a church blew out the Sears and created a church. And there was a lobby, probably 4 times the size of our lobby, right at the end of the mall. It was very much like part of the mall, and it was a really cool thing. They had that open, and they have it open every day, and they have free coffee and free soda, and people can just kind of wander in. And so I wandered in. I was very interested in that, got my free coffee, and I was looking around in the lobby, being on staff at a church. And they have volunteers there, and one of the volunteers saw me looking and came over and introduced herself and was very generous and very gracious and asked where, I wanted to get to know me a little bit. And they showed us around the church, and it was a really cool thing. And so it was very contrasted to my experience at the Air Force Museum. Now, my point is not that church people are nice and non-church people are not nice, because we all know that's not necessarily true. We all know church people who aren't very nice, okay? That's just how that shook out for me. My point is, I was in 2 different places for the first time. I was a new person. Now, here at LifeHouse, I'm not new, I'm old, okay? And so I'm a little disconnected, but you may be here and you may be new. And I got to feel on Friday a little bit maybe what you feel, where you come in and you don't know really what's going on. And we want you to feel like I felt at the Dayton Mall at that church. We want you to feel welcome. And our guest services team, they do an awesome job. We hope you felt that this morning. And we hope that maybe one day you could call LifeHouse your home. And so we're really glad that you're here, especially if you're new here. Two things. First of all, we are still collecting hygiene items and clothes out in the lobby, and those are all going to our local schools for students in need. So we're running that through July 26th. You have another week to bring in items, hygiene items and clothes, and those are going to students in need. So drop them off there. And then also, just for today, for everybody, we have a few songs. Josh Brown is bringing a message. He's kicking off a brand new series called You Do You. And before that, we get to experience something that's pretty cool, and that's called a baptism. And if you're new to church, new to faith, baptism is just a way for somebody to go public with their faith in Jesus. And Haven's here today. Haven, can you give us a wave? Let's give it up for Haven. Haven is going into her sophomore year at Van Wert, and so we get to hear her story, and she's gonna get dunked in that tank of water over there, just symbolically to declare that she has decided to follow Jesus. So we're gonna cheer and celebrate with her. But before that, Joanne's gonna lead us in this first song, and we believe that when you follow Jesus, you can find true freedom from your past and from everything that goes on, and we want to celebrate that. So we're going to sing this song together. If you're in the room, I want to invite you to stand and let's sing. was no way until you made one. Grace upon grace, hallelujah. And even though I don't deserve it, you did it. Even though I couldn't earn it, you give it. Who am I that you keep me on your mind? God, I'm just grateful for you. God, I'm just grateful for you. And all my life you've been right here by my side. God, I'm just grateful for you. God, I'm just grateful for you. Holy, holy, there's only one. I give you glory for all that you've done. And even though I don't deserve it, you did it. Even though I couldn't earn it, you give it. So who am I that you keep me on your mind? God, I'm just grateful for you. God, I'm just grateful for you. And all my life you've been right here by my side. God, I'm just grateful for you. God, I'm just grateful for you. Yeah. Oh, you gave me chance after chance. Oh, after chance, after chance. And I'm lifting both of my hands, 'cause you gave me chance after chance, after chance. And I'm giving all that I am. Oh, 'cause you gave me chance after chance, after chance. And come on, I'm lifting both of my hands, 'cause you gave me chance after chance. Yes, you did. After chance. And 'cause I'm giving all that I am, 'cause you gave me chance after chance, after chance. And who am I that you keep me on your mind? God, I'm just grateful for you. God, I'm just grateful for you. All my life, you've been right here by my side. God, I'm just grateful for you. God, I'm just grateful for you. I survived, and I'm here to testify. God, I'm just grateful for you. God, I'm just grateful for you. And I'm alright if they say I'm out of my mind. God, I'm just grateful for you. God, I'm just grateful for you. Guys, thanks so much for singing with us about God's, how good He is. Have a seat as you do. Haven's story is all about the goodness of God and how grateful she is for what Jesus has done in her life. And we're so excited for you to hear her story. Check it out. Let's celebrate with her.
Hi, my name is Haven. I'm 15 years old and I go to Vanwart High School. I started coming to church when I was really little. I used to go to a different church, and I started coming to LifeHouse with my family about in 3rd grade. As soon as I got into middle school, I was split into a group with some of the girls in my grade, and I had 2 leaders, Emma Carl and Peyton Noggle. Throughout that year, I started to grow closer with some of the people, and that summer, my mom asked me if I wanted to go to church camp with my sister because they had a few extra spots. And at first I was a little bit hesitant, but I was like, why not? Sure. And so I went, but Little did I know that that summer would probably change the rest of my life. I just had such a great experience. I never had seen anything like it before. I just never realized that that's how things were really supposed to be. And after that year, I just knew that I wanted to pursue that in my life, and I just knew that that's how I wanted to live. After that year, I kept going to church a lot in transit, and I grew super close with all of my leaders and my friends in my group. And I kept going to camp every year and kept showing up on Sunday, and I just loved it so much. In 7th grade, I went to camp at Cedarville, and it was during an evening service, very heavy, and it was very great. And the speaker that we had gave everyone an opportunity to give their life to Christ. And I had thought about it a lot, and we talked about it in group before throughout the week. And I just decided that I was tired of waiting to just be a perfect person or have everything together, or just have all my faith was perfect. And I knew that I didn't need to wait for that. And I just knew that I wanted to do it. And so I went forward with that, and I just remember being really happy. I remember standing up and giving my sister a hug because she was there that year, and just being with all my group after that. And I stayed there after service, and I just talked to people that I didn't even know and prayed with them. And it was such an amazing experience, and I just never knew anything else like it. And it really did change my life. After that year at camp, I came back to LifeHouse with just a completely changed heart, and I continued to grow in my faith a lot more after that, and with my group, and started to just see the change in myself and other people around me. And it was just a really special thing to me. And I just kept taking those steps and started leading and started coming to more events and inviting other people. And it's just from now on, it has just been such a blessing in my life. And I'm just so glad that it has become just the center of my life. I'm grateful to Jesus for all of the opportunities that he's given me, and the people in my life, all of the new relationships and friendships, and that I'm just so thankful for all of that, and all of the blessings, and how he's just changed me completely as a person and changed my heart and my entire life. And I'm just so thankful for that. I just want to thank obviously my family for supporting me, because if it weren't for them, then I wouldn't have ever gone to camp or have any of these opportunities that I do. And also my group leaders, Emma and Nikki and Peyton, for being there for me and my entire group. They've just been such a blessing in watching us grow and being there for us and helping us. And the rest of my group, all of those girls are my best friends, and they've always been there for me. And I get to see them every single day at school and at church. And it is just I'm so thankful for them, and I love them all so much. My name is Haven, and I'm here to let you know that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior.
Well, Haven, it's just been such a blessing and an honor to walk alongside you these past 4 years. And what I love most about your faith is that you are so willing to make sacrifices in order to keep the Lord as your first priority. And your story is just such an example of how God's love can truly just change us for the better. And I am so proud of you for taking this step of faith today. And I just cannot wait to see how God's plans unfold for you. And because of your declaration of faith of Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, I get to baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
That is so good, so special to see. And for those of you who don't know, Peyton she was baptized herself a few years ago, and has served as a small group leader for those girls for such a long time. And it's so neat to see that full circle moment, Peyton to be able to be in the tank with Haven. But listen, I got to say, I want to speak to you if you are generous to LifeHouse, okay? If you're new here, I'm not asking you to give today. We hope you enjoy today and come back. But I want to speak to you if you've been generous to LifeHouse consistently, or you have in the past and you're doing it now. I hope that when you heard Haven's story, that you grasp, that you know that your giving was a part of Haven's story. Whether you know Haven or not, that because you have chosen to be generous to our mission, which is to lead people in a growing relationship with Jesus, you've played a part in that. And listen, God does the work. God changes hearts. We can't change people's hearts, but we can create spaces where God can work. And the students back in the attic that we have, the high school and middle school students, that environment is an incredible place. And the fact that they get to go to camp and have that experience as well, that wouldn't happen without your generosity. So I just want to say on behalf of Haven and the students and the small group leaders, thank you for what you do. It makes a huge, huge difference. You get to be a part of life change like Haven's. And we're about to move into a time where we can be generous. And if, as I said, if you're new, not asking you to give, but if you call LifeHouse home, you've been around a while and you've never taken that step to be generous, I want to invite you to that. It's a way to be a part of what God's doing in people's lives. And so we're going to pass some buckets. If you're new, let the buckets go right on by. But I want to invite you to do that. And again, thank those of you who are generous. It's making a huge difference. I'm going to ask the guest services team at this time to come forward, and we'll pass the buckets.
I am not in the mood. Okay. I think I know what we're both calling this one. It's been a long day. That's true. Work was tough today. Oh, so tough. I mean, all the back and forth between clients, the short lunch break. You even said no to the cupcakes in the break room. You did good today, kid. Really? We're doing this again? You made a commitment for the new year. Don't derail it now. New year, new you. You're right. I can't fall off the horse this early. Oh, don't be so dramatic. It's just one time. It's not falling off the horse. It's more of riding side saddle. What? You know, you'll end up less sore this way. That is true. Really, you're going to take that metaphor? Oh, come on, where did you get that? I put some in her purse when you weren't looking. Those do look good. Oh, they are. You need to treat yourself. That's not treating yourself, that's cheating yourself. Yeah, that's the point. It's just a cheat day. Even The Rock has cheat days. Do you smell what I'm cooking? Side saddle, huh? Giddy up!
We really had a big missed opportunity to put bunk cakes on everybody's seat when you guys walked in. Sorry about that. Hey, my name is Josh, like Ryan said, and it's great to be with you this morning. We're launching this new series, and I first want to start with a proposal. I'll ask you, have you ever heard of main character energy before? Main character energy makes me think of video games. If you're a gamer in the room, you know this to be true, that any video game you play, whether it's a sports game, an adventure game, a shooter game, whatever that is, you are the main character in the game. Everything else revolves around you, and everyone else is either computers or people doing their own thing. I think that it's funny to look at this because in 2020, TikTok kids adopted this and coined this term and applied it to themselves. They took it out of this idea of like, oh yeah, it's a video game or something else, but we are main characters of our lives in real life. And through self-discovery, through promotional branding of our own, through letting other people into our lives, we are kind of taking on and adopting this strategy of main character energy. And if we're being honest, it goes further than TikTok. It goes further than a trend. This has been something that people wrestle with and have wrestled with for all of history in terms of drifting towards main character energy and like us being in the center of the story. And what I wanted to do to get us in the right headspace is give us 3 examples of maybe where this comes to play for you, and I know for sure it comes into play with me. So maybe for you this morning, when you were getting dressed, when you were putting on your clothes, when you were picking out your shoes, the thought passed through your head, when I show up to church today, someone's gonna be impressed. They're all gonna be looking at me and they're gonna be like, oh, those are some sweet shoes. That's an awesome outfit. We think that our outfit is gonna be noticed by everyone else around it, but in reality, we don't notice anybody else's for the most part, unless it's like a friend that we want to point out. Scenario number 2, you go to a football game, just say it's a high school football game, there's 3,000 people in the stands. Midway first quarter, you got to go to the bathroom, you pick up a bag of popcorn, and then you walk back up, and you think, and at least I think when I've done this, I think that all 3,000 people are staring right at me. Sure, there's a game going on, but they're staring right at me, and I am the center, and they are watching how I walk, they're watching how I'm eating popcorn, they're watching everything that I'm doing, because I'm thinking, oh, sure, everyone's focused on me. I'm the center of the story. Last example. You have a thought. The thought's a good thought. You think the thought's valuable. So you go to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and you're like, if I think this thought's valuable, then everybody else needs to hear this thought. Because if I think it's valuable, then they think it's valuable, and they want to hear what I have to say. And we convince ourselves that, well, yeah, everyone wants to know what I have to say because I'm important and I'm valuable and my thoughts are valuable. And this is, I feel like, a trend that is not a new phenomenon. This is something that has been going on where we place ourselves in the middle of the story, and we always have. I mean, up until the 1600s, we thought that the earth was the center of the universe until we found out, well, of course, not everything is revolving around the earth. There's so many more facets to it. We just naturally drift into being the center, being the main character, placing ourselves in the middle. And what I love about this place, what we do oftentimes in this church, is we look at the world around us. We look at this trend for the sake of the series, You Do You, and we hear that and we say, okay, what is culture saying? What is the world around us doing? And what is our job, what is our response supposed to be in light of what's going on around us? And that oftentimes indicates how we live our lives. And we ask the Bible, we ask Jesus, or see if the Bible or Jesus has anything to say about what's going on around us, to instruct us on which way to go. And for us in the series, we just want to ask, well, what does the Bible, what does Jesus lead us in when it confronts this idea of main character energy, or You Do You, which is the title of our series. And to get started, we're going to look at a story in the New Testament. We talked about this a few weeks ago, the structure of the Bible. The New Testament is about 3/4 of the way through. The Gospels are the 4 accounts of Jesus. And we're looking in the book of Luke. And Luke is an interrogator. He's trying to get to the bottom of the story of Jesus. So he writes down and documents these specific accounts that people say happened. They were with Jesus. They saw this happen. So he's taking account of a small gathering on a night in a particular house that a few women are running. And Jesus, in this point in time, is found with so many people engaging in culture, engaging in the ways that people live. He's meeting them where they're at. But oftentimes, he takes in and he says, okay, I see this, I see that. You're living this way, you're acting this way. What if we went a different direction? What if we chose to acknowledge this but go the other way because it might be better for you? It might be better for other people. We see Jesus do this time and time again. And when we find him in Mary and Martha's house, who are the two ladies that are in the house, this is not Mary, the mother of Jesus. This is another Mary. So Mary, Martha, and you maybe have heard of Lazarus, the brother of Mary and Martha. Lazarus died, and Jesus brought him back to life, which is one of the main reasons that Jesus went to the cross in the first place, because so much attention was gathered around him, and a threat began of like, oh, Jesus might be who he says he is, and he might actually come and overthrow the government and take back Jerusalem, and all these things that people thought were going to happen. Lazarus is a pretty famous character, but we're not talking about him. We're talking about his sisters. And his sisters are in this house, and they welcome Jesus in, and this is how the story goes. It says, as Jesus and his disciples were on their way, they're on their way to Jerusalem, the capital city, for a feast or a festival. He came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. The village was named Bethany. It was about 2 miles outside of Jerusalem to this house that Martha owned. She opened it up to her. It goes on to say, she had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. Mary is in there. Jesus is reclining in his chair, and Mary is at her feet. Essentially, she's listening. She's trying to learn. She's trying to be with Jesus. But Martha, on the other hand, Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. Martha is in this position where she is trying to be hospitable to Jesus, to everyone else in their house. And we know this. Hospitality is important. When people come into your house, you vacuum the carpets, you dust off the countertops, you make sure all the things in the house, toys in my case, are picked up and put away, because you want to make it feel like a welcoming environment to anybody coming through your house. Well, this amplifies when someone important is coming to your house. You want to make sure that everything is ordered because you want them to feel like they're known and welcomed and they belong here. Well, Jesus, in this point in time, at the very least, Jesus was a rabbi. He was a teacher. He had respect with his title. So at the very least, there was an important person coming through. And at the very most, which I believe these two women believed about him, that he was the Savior of the world, that he was God's son. So there's a heavy, heavy burden placed on them to be hospitable, to create a space for him, especially for Martha. And not only that, the time and place where this Jewish culture existed, hospitality was in their law. This is how they were supposed to conduct themselves. And Mary and Martha were supposed to be held accountable to this law. So Martha is all focused on this and all worried about this. Mary is sitting at her feet. And Martha is upset with Mary. She's upset with her sister because they're supposed to be hospitable. She goes to Jesus. She came to him and asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me. She's ticked off. She wants her sister to contribute because this is what they're supposed to do. And Jesus' response is, Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you do you. And let's allow Mary to follow her heart too. That's not what it says. But isn't that what we hear? Don't we hear that too often in culture? It's like, hey, you do you, and you do you, and you can do you, and that's just how you're supposed to live. It doesn't matter really what's right, what's wrong. You just do you. Mary, you do you. Martha, you do you. Don't we hear that? It comes in expressions like this, that being our full authentic self, you hear you do you be you. Be true to yourself, follow your heart, find yourself, you be happy, which is not a bad thing. It's not bad to be happy, but sometimes being happy can get misconstrued and then it becomes the goal and then it gets in the way. We're gonna talk about that over the next couple weeks when it comes to happiness. But we hear that encouraged in culture around us. That we're supposed to be ourselves. We're supposed to be us. We're supposed to find ourselves. And for all of us, if you're not a Christian in the room, we get a chance to look at this story. We get the chance to look at this you do you culture and say, is this the best way for me? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe I need to find a new way. But if you are a Jesus person, if you're a Jesus follower in this room, this extends past an idea. This isn't just something that we think is out there that we believe in. It actually requires us to do something. Before we jump back in the story, I just want to talk about what's happening in the story. What kind of attitude is being held? Like I said, for years and years and years, we have been drifting into this, I am discovering myself, I am the main character of my story, I'm expressing myself, and just recently in modern psychology, we have deemed this term expressive individualism, where I'm kind of the centerpiece of the story. And this has been happening, and this is not new to people. This expressive individualism is the be true to yourself mindset that finds self-fulfillment and self-expression as the highest goal of life. And don't get me wrong. It is not a bad thing to discover yourself. It is not a bad thing to find yourself. It is not bad because God has made us all uniquely purposeful. He's given us all unique personalities, wirings, all the above. But it's when this becomes the highest goal that we start running into issues. When we're told being you is the most authentic thing that you can do, we start running into walls because authenticity, it's that buzzword. It's the buzzword that we've heard oftentimes, like you be the authentic version of you. And that's the goal, and you should find that out. And authenticity is good on its own, but it gets wrapped up in other ideas, and we run into this problem that if the first and greatest commandment of individualism is to be yourself, then the unforgivable sin is to be dishonest of self by giving into any external pressures or authority. I'm gonna read that one more time. If the first and greatest commandment of individualism is to be yourself, if the goal of individualism is to discover yourself, you be you, you need to be uniquely, authentically you, then the unforgivable sin, the thing that goes against that the most, is being dishonest of yourself by letting in other authorities, by letting in other outside influences change who you are. And when we start believing that, when we start saying, well, you know, I need to become myself, so I can't really let other things in to influence me because I'm uniquely me. I'm doing me. I'm choosing what I think is best or who I actually am. We start to go down a path. We start to go down a road that leads us to a place I'm not sure we intended to be. So I want to paint a picture of us going down a road, and on this road there are 7 exits, and each exit is a belief. Every exit is a belief that they can be taken individually, but I think they build off of each other more often than not, and we find ourselves, again, in a place we don't want to be. So the first stop, we've kind of hit on this already, but the highest good, the pinnacle, the tip of the iceberg, is individual freedom, happiness, and self-definition. This is what we're striving for. This is what we're working for. If we adopt this belief of individualism or expressed individualism, it's the gateway to what comes next. Stop number 2. Traditions, religions, received wisdom, regulations, and social ties that restrict, it stops the act of individual freedom, happiness, self-definition, and self-expression must be reshaped, deconstructed, and or destroyed. Any idea, any form that's coming from the outside, if it doesn't align with me doing me, the way that I see myself, my authentic self, it needs to be reshaped. It has to fit into my parameters, into my box. And I have to make it work. It has to be either destroyed or fits into what I have defined as good or right in my own eyes. Question. Have you seen this in anybody? Have you ever seen this in yourself? Where you reshape ideas to fit into your box? Stop number 3. Exit number 3, belief number 3. The world will inevitably improve as the scope of individual freedom grows. The world gets better as individualism grows. As we discover who we are, everything around us should get better. Which leads us to the 4th stop, that the primary social ethic is tolerance of everyone's self-defined quest for individual freedom and self-expression. That if the world gets better when we grow as individuals, then we need to tolerate every other individual. We have to tolerate what their truth is. We have to tolerate what they believe is right is, as well as they have to tolerate us. And that toleration, the toleration has to grow in order to accept individualism, which relies on the 5th stop, the 5th belief that humans are inherently good. If you believe that other people and their individual self is the best way to live, you have to trust that they are inherently good. Now, can I ask a question? Who has kids in the room? Are your kids inherently good? No, of course they're not. I have 2 toddlers at home, and they run around, and they're stealing stuff all the time, and they're lying to get more and more and more milk all day long. They come up with all these reasons, and I'm like, I know you're not telling the truth. You don't have to teach a child to be bad. You don't have to teach a child to rebel. You don't have to teach them those things. You have to teach them and lead them to be good. I don't believe that humans are inherently good, which eventually this all starts to fall apart. But stop number 6, moving on. Large-scale structures and institutions are suspicious at best and evil at worst. If we have morphed into this individualistic mindset, we start to lose trust in institutions. We start to lose trust in church. We start to lose trust in government. We start to lose trust in anything that is not just me or my little circle, that I am fully in the know of. This brought me back to a couple conversations, being in a small group with a handful of guys. Multiple times I found myself getting into conversations about conspiracy theories. And so fun to talk about lizard people and going to the moon and secret governments and all this kind of stuff. And if you're like, I've never heard of any of those things, that's fine, just keep it that way. So we have these conversations. And it goes on for 15, 20, 30 minutes. And I'm like, okay, guys, we are way off the rails. We're believing everything that we see on our Facebook reel, on YouTube, whatever it is. And I ask a simple question, and I've learned that this kind of diffuses the conversation. What conspiracy theory don't you believe in? Is there one that you don't take hold to or don't believe in? And a lot of times it's been a pause, and I'm not really sure I can think of some, because we drift into an individualistic mindset that we don't trust anything that's bigger than ourselves. That at the very worst, they're not trustworthy, or at the very least, it's not trustworthy. At the very worst, institutions, big structures are pure evil, which lands us to stop number 7, and that's that forms of external authority are rejected and personal authority is praised. Any external authority outside of ourselves is down at the bottom. It doesn't get any runtime, but our own personal authenticity is put at the very top. And we think that our expressive individualism reigns above all other things, and we don't let anything else in. It's just us. We are just doing us. The tension that we usually come to when it comes to this last stage is this word authority. Authority is hard to wrap our minds around. Again, if you're not a Christian, this makes sense. It doesn't question me as to why you might not like authority. I get it. I don't like being told what to do. Why do I have to have a boss? Why do I have to have someone telling me what to do? It brings me back to a time when I was like, 5 years old. I was going to Ohio City Church of God, kind of the place where LifeHouse was birthed out of. My dad was the pastor. I'm going to Sunday school. And for some reason, on one particular morning, I walk into Sunday school on a mission to be like a terror to the other kids, to the teacher. Again, this is in reflection. I wasn't thinking as a 5-year-old, I'm going to terrorize this place. But I walk in, and I have this little Spider-Man toy. It's like a stuffed animal action figure type thing that had a string on the end. And I'm walking in. I'm not listening to my teacher. I'm hitting other kids. I hit my teacher. By the end of the morning, I think she was crying. She actually left the church that morning. I'm kidding. She didn't leave the church. If that teacher is here, I don't know if you hung around. I'm sorry. I apologize. And you can bet that day or maybe the following week, I had to go in and apologize. But in that moment, nobody had to teach me how to rebel against authority. No one had to teach me how to justify my actions by, I have special privileges. I'm the pastor's kid. I can do whatever I want. No one had to tell me how to do that. It's something in us is ingrained to rebel against authority. And if you're a Christian, that gets really tricky. And we've always resisted authority. There's something in us that naturally wants to go against someone telling us what to do. In fact, you look back to the first people in this world, Adam and Eve are in the garden, and they have one rule. They can do whatever they want, but they have one rule. Don't eat from this tree. And you know what they do? They break the one rule. They rebel. They go against the original intent. There's something in us that wants to rebel. It's ingrained inside of us. It's something that we all have to wrestle with. So with all that said, with all that leading up to individualism and where that can take us and our resistance to authority, I want to jump back into the story of Mary and Martha. Remember, we're in Martha's house. Mary's sitting at Jesus' feet. Martha's preparing. Jesus is speaking to Mary, and they're in this room. Martha's ticked off. This is what it says going back to Luke 10. She came to him and asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me. And this is what Jesus actually says. He doesn't say you do you. He says, Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed, only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. And as we read this, if you've grown up or been a part of church in any amount of capacity, you've maybe heard this story, and there's a primary purpose to this story. The primary purpose, I believe, is we notice this picture of Mary sitting at Jesus' feet, listening to him, and Jesus tells Martha, hey, that is not the right thing you should be doing. You should be with Mary at my feet listening. The primary purpose is there are so many things distracting us that are pulling our attention away from Jesus, that Jesus just purely wants us to be with him, to love the people that he loves, to adopt his way. That's what Jesus wants. And if that's what you need to hear today, I hope that you receive that Jesus just wants to be with you. But I think there's a secondary point. I think there's a secondary agenda in this story. And that agenda is you doing you isn't always what you should do, right? You doing you isn't always what you should do. Jesus says in this instant, Mary, you are doing what is right. Martha, you are not doing what is right. You are not doing the better thing. You're doing what's wrong. There is a distinction between right and wrong that Jesus makes very clear. Now, if you are not a Jesus person, if you're not a Jesus follower, the rest of this message, I hope that it's helpful. I hope that it sparks something inside of you. I hope that maybe it causes you to investigate a little bit more into what this is all about, what Christianity is all about. But if you consider yourself a Jesus person, if you consider yourself a Jesus follower, this is where our pride has to come to a screeching halt. This is where every action, every thought, every habit that we have needs to be brought under the microscope and asked, okay, where is this coming from? Why do I do this? Should I be doing this? And we have to start with the posture that Martha had and Mary had and ask the question, who made Jesus the boss of Mary and Martha? Or maybe to use the word that is written, the word that Luke used, who made Jesus the Lord of Mary and Martha? Did you notice that when it says that Martha came to Jesus? She came to Jesus and asked, Lord. Now, Lord is not a word that we use typically in our language, but Lord means authority. Lord means complete authority. Lord means not just one area of your life, not just a couple areas of your life, but the entirety of yourself is submitted to the influence of Lord. Lord means that sometimes you have to do something that's uncomfortable. Lord means sometimes you have to do something that's different. Lord means you might have to change one of your deep-seated beliefs and opinions because it calls you to do something else. Lord might cost you something and cause you to lose something. And that's uncomfortable. That's hard. Martha realizes this, and she calls him Lord, and for all of us, I don't think it's that hard to call Jesus an authoritative figure or an authority. The guy who turned water into wine, the guy who fed 5,000 men and women and children from the lunchbox of a middle school boy or whatever. The guy who raised Lazarus from the dead, the guy who raised himself from the dead. That's not hard to argue against and say, yeah, sure, that guy is an authority. But it's an entirely different story when deciding whether or not he's going to be our authority or our Lord, and he's going to rule in our life. And we sometimes drift back into, well, I'm gonna do me, and the Lord is over here, but I'm not sure I wanna follow that because Lord means I'm accountable, and I'm not sure I wanna be accountable. So I'm just gonna start viewing Jesus in a different light. From an individualistic mindset, I'm gonna view Jesus more like a counselor, more like a therapist, someone who sits with me, a good example, points me in the right direction. When I want him, he's there, but when I don't, he gets out of the way, and he gets out of my way. And that's easy, that's kind of comfortable, and to be honest, this is just a side note, it doesn't entirely connect, but I think some of us view church that way as well. That we show up to church, and it's my happy place. It fills me up. It makes me feel good. I feel known at church. Church is a really good thing. And it just is a happy place that I like to be a part of. But Jesus never intended for him to be that way. And he never intended church to be that either. He never intended to be a therapist or a good buddy or a pal. He intended for him to be Lord. And as church, to be the place where we grow together in following his lordship. Not just a therapist, not just a place to be happy, but a place to submit to him and his authority. Again, when we do that, it's gonna cost us something. And a lot of us reject that idea because it gives up our individualism, and we think, well, if I submit to Jesus as Lord, when something hard gets put in front of me, I'm gonna have to give up some of myself. I'm gonna give up who I am, and that's not authentic to me, that's not who I am. But in fact, when we look at Jesus and his relationship that he desires to have with us, the exact opposite is true. And it puts us at a crossroads. That in the terms of what we call him, that liking Jesus makes him our life coach. When we like to be around Jesus, it's like, yeah, good buddy, you can be right beside me, you can point me in the right direction. But following Jesus makes him our Lord. I mean, think about it in our lives. When we, as Jesus followers, run into something hard, how fast do we run to Jesus? When we face a challenge or change or something that we need help with, how often and how quickly do we go and say, Jesus, I need your help? Or when you receive the worst news, when you're in the middle of tragedy, when you're in the middle of loss, when you're in the middle of pain, how quickly do we go to Jesus and go down on our knees and say, Jesus, I need your help. I need you to fix this. I need you to come into my life. But then, when we're confronted with some of the things that we read in the gospel, some of the hard things that we read in the gospel, what's our response then? When he tells us certain things about marriage and how marriage is conducted. What do we do when he talks about loving your enemy? What do we do in response to him talking about generosity? What do we do in light of forgiving the person who has caused us the most pain in our lives, in our world, in our circumstances? What do we do when we face something hard? That's why we resist. That's why we're like, well, I'm not sure I want to do that. I'd be giving something else. And I get it. We resist authority because we believe autonomy is the path to authenticity. Me doing it by myself is discovering me and who I am and where I need to go. That's how I'm authentically myself. And if I do that, if I follow Jesus' hard commands, if I make him Lord of my life, I feel like I might be giving that up. But can I ask you a question? If you want to discover who you are, if you want to dig into your personality, who you are, who you were created to be, who would you go to? Who would you ask for help? I have a suggestion. I have an option for you. Who knows you better than the one who made you, the one who knows you, the one who unconditionally loves you, the one who saved you and died for you and now dwells inside of you? Who knows you better than your heavenly Father who created you? Who knows you better than Jesus who died for you? When Jesus is our Lord, knowing him or knowing you begins by following him. And the most authentic thing that you can do is give Jesus authority over you. That we run to Jesus, the person who created us and unconditionally loves us, and said, God, I want you to direct my life. I want you to be Lord of my life. And this is challenging. And we get in the way of this because we think we're giving something up, but in fact, we're actually gaining access to what we desperately want and what we desperately need. And isn't that the gospel? Isn't that the good news? You can't have good news without bad news. And can I be honest for a second? What the bad news is that applies to every single one of us is that we've sinned and we're sinners. We're not perfect. We're not pure. And no amount of self-discovery can make up for the gap that is in our lives because we have sinned against ourselves, we've sinned against people, and we've sinned against God, and there's separation in the relationship between us and him. No amount of you doing you can close that gap. But God wasn't content with that. He wasn't okay with just saying, okay, they're gonna be on their own, they're gonna be distant from me. He said, no, I'm gonna reconcile this relationship. And I'm gonna send my son, the person I love the most in the entire universe, for you, to close that gap, to bring you back into right relationship with me so that we can dwell together and that he can have lordship over your life, not as a punishment, not because it doesn't cost you something, it does cost you something, but because it gives you everything you actually want. Think about it. Everything that we do for self-discovery is to be aimed to receive gratitude, to receive unconditional love and acceptance that we want from other people, we want from ourselves, but we will always fall short of that. But Jesus says, I have peace. I have unconditional love. I have everything that you actually want and will actually make your life full. If you just choose to say, Lord, I'm here and I want to follow you. The world says that we should look inward to ourselves, to our own satisfaction, to the you do you mindset, individualism. That's always going to leave us wanting more. But the gospel says we need to look upward. We need to look upward to figure out who we are, who we're created to be, what full life in Jesus actually looks like. And in a second, I want us to reflect over that. Reflect upon the prompting of Martha and how she approached Jesus, her Lord. It said she came to him and asked, Lord. She came to him and addressed him as Lord of her life. Lord, tell me what you need to do. You are about to say there's a right and a wrong. I want to know what to do. And for you, in your life, when you're thinking about, okay, what does this mean for me? Because I said earlier, it's not just an idea, it's not just a belief, it's something that we need to do. And we need to ask ourselves, what does it require of us to call Jesus Lord, to make him Lord of our life, to submit to authority even when we don't want to, but we believe that it's what's best? Calling Jesus Lord might mean you have to stay. When your relationship feels hard, when your marriage feels hard, when you feel like I just can't do it another day longer, it might mean you have to stay and work through it and figure it out. Calling Jesus Lord might mean you need to move out because you're living with someone else. And you're not making the best decisions, but you can justify it by saying, well, yeah, we're saving money and we're learning about life and all this stuff, but you know it's not what's best for you. Calling Jesus Lord might mean that you need to adjust how you spend your time. Because every day you spend your time doing things that don't bring you closer to people, they might actually create distance between you and the people that you love. Calling Jesus Lord might mean that you have to say no to something that you want, something that you feel like you need, but you know is stealing from your life and hurting your life and killing life in you. What does calling Jesus Lord look like for you? Maybe it asks you the question, or maybe you need to ask the question, do I need help? Do I need someone to show up for me? Do I need to seek out help so that I can experience full life because I can't do it on my own? For all of us, there's something, and myself included, there's something that we need to submit to and say, Lord, I have not given this to you, and I need to. Just like Martha, we approach him and say, Lord, I need this. So what we're going to do is I want to give you 60 seconds. I want to give you 1 minute to process that, to process what that could be in your life, what you're holding back from in calling Jesus Lord and giving over, even though it's hard. And then we're going to sing a song, and I want to invite you to start sitting down and use this song as an opportunity to respond to whatever Jesus might be presenting to you that might have been held back, that you might be holding back from him. So, in a minute, we're going to sing this song, and you can stay seated, but I just want to give you 60 seconds to process that, to reflect it, and then maybe potentially give it to Jesus.
Show me what it means to trust your heart. If I'm waiting for the perfect moment, then there's never been a better time to start. You can have it all. You can have it all.
Let's stand and sing.
Coming back to you is so ironic. Maybe so, you know, when I pretend faithfulness resolves my indecision. So I choose to yield myself over again. Yeah. It's not that hard, it's not that complicated. You trust in your heart, and that is the invitation. I'm letting go now. I know that I won't regret it. I'm laying it down. It's all on the altar waiting. righteousness. Oh God, how I need you.
We love you guys. Thanks so much for being here. Y'all are dismissed.